Caitlin Clark. Wow, talk about the impact one person can make in a sport. If you guys are wondering who I am talking about, it is Caitlin Clark that I am shouting out. Why? Because the LSU-Iowa game drew 12.3 million viewers. That's why. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the LSU-Iowa game having record high ratings for women's college basketball as viewership was at an all-time high. Although Iowa won the game against LSU, there were a ton of storylines focusing on LSU before and after the game. As you guys all know, LSU has been in the headlines all season long for the wrong reasons, although their basketball team was actually pretty good compared to most teams in women's college basketball. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. What is your reaction to the LSU-Iowa game having record high ratings? Honestly, I'm really impressed. I mean, good job to those two teams for being able to put on a show where a lot of viewers would be able to actually care about the game and be able to tune in. And drawing 12.3 million viewers for a women's college basketball game is actually really impressive in and of itself. I don't care which teams you are. I don't care which players you are. For that sport, in that industry, to draw that many viewers on a TV channel, very impressive stuff. And obviously that happened because of both teams. It takes two sides in order to make a basketball game really exciting. And how are sports best work? It's through rivalries. And obviously Iowa and LSU have a rivalry. Why? Because Caitlin Clark's biggest rival is Angel Reese. If you guys remember what happened last year, Angel Reese beat Caitlin Clark in the national championship game, and Iowa was so close to win the national championship game, but ultimately they fell short. And now this year, Iowa, they're able to get revenge on LSU for being able to win that game behind the greatness of Caitlin Clark. And I know that there are some Caitlin Clark haters out there, aka Jamel Hill and Jay Williams, but Caitlin Clark is one of the greatest basketball players to have ever played the game of basketball for women's sports. And obviously Caitlin Clark put on a phenomenal performance against LSU. Caitlin Clark put up 41 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds. She shot the heck out of that basketball. She played really efficient basketball as well, and she outplayed their other superstar, Angel Reese. You look at how Caitlin Clark was all over the court. She was playing great defense. She was able to facilitate the offense as well. She was knocking down multiple three-point shots like it was nothing. I mean, my goodness, Caitlin Clark was able to take over the game like no other. You look at how Iowa, they only scored 94 points, but guess what? It doesn't matter when Caitlin Clark is scoring 41 of those 94 points, and obviously Caitlin Clark contributed to even more than 41 points through her amazing passing skills, and obviously she did a great job getting other teammates involved. You look at how Iowa's bench, they only put up 5 points without Caitlin Clark in the starting lineup, but it doesn't matter because Caitlin Clark was able to do the heavy lifting. Of course, it also helps when Martin is also chipping in 21 points as well. So good job to those players on women's basketball for being able to get the most out of that chorus. So obviously Iowa, they're going to be back in the national championship game. It seems like they're in the Final Four right now. I assume they're going to be able to beat UConn because LSU was a tougher team than UConn, at least in my opinion, but we'll see what happens. I really want to see Iowa in the national championship game. I said before March Madness started for women's college basketball that Iowa needed to win this national championship and that I do want them to win the national championship. And now it seems like they're in position in order to get the job done. And obviously Caitlin Clark, the only thing she hasn't done yet is win a national championship, but hopefully she's going to win hers. That way we can end the debate as to who's the greatest college basketball player ever in women's college basketball. Obviously Caitlin Clark is already the greatest in my mind, even though she's never won a championship, because how do you judge greatness? You judge greatness by seeing how can you elevate other teammates around you. How do you make everybody around you better? What do you do as a leader? And obviously winning does matter and that championships do matter, but you guys also have to remember that there are other factors outside of winning championships that matter. And obviously Caitlin Clark has check marked every single box outside of winning a championship. But like I said, if Caitlin Clark wins a championship this year, she's absolutely my GOAT in women's college basketball. Obviously it seems like Caitlin Clark is going to enter the WNBA next season. Hopefully she's going to have a good time over there, even though I'm not sure how she's going to have a good time over there, considering the fact that the WNBA is better known as a dumpster fire place where stars go to be irrelevant over there. But we'll see what happens with Caitlin Clark. Maybe she can do the impossible and get people to actually care about the WNBA. I know that I might be tuning into the first game of Caitlin Clark's WNBA career, but outside of that, I can't guarantee that I'm going to have major interest in the WNBA. I want to read you guys some quotes from ESPN that announced the record-breaking ratings that happened for the LSU-Iowa game. So here's the first quote from ESPN. It says, quote, "The viewership surpassed the 11.84 million who watched the 1983 NCAA championship game between Southern California and Louisiana Tech. LSU coach Kim Mulkey played for Louisiana Tech and was matched up against USC great Cheryl Miller in that game, which the Trojans won 64-58. Obviously, that was a pretty historic game in women's college basketball, and I find it rather interesting that there were a ton of people that chose to watch the LSU-Iowa game, because that is higher than basically any game that has happened in March Madness in the men's bracket, as well as any NBA game this year and any baseball game this year as well. So you look at how women's college sports is also growing at a pretty high level as well. Now, do I think it will be sustainable? I highly doubt it. I don't think it's going to be sustainable whatsoever, unless if women's college basketball can find a way to replace Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark as their marketable stars. And you guys have to remember that even though Angel Reese is a controversial figure, and even though I dislike Angel Reese, guess what? Angel Reese is a likable dislike figure. And what do I mean by that? That means she is bringing in good hate. She is bringing in viewers that want to hate watch her. They want to watch her just so they can see her fail. And guess what? When that happens, that increases good ratings. Now, obviously, the NBA, they do a lousy job incorporating this into their league, but they need to have some good hate in their basketball league, or else that's going to turn away a bunch of viewers. We've already seen why viewers are turning away from the NBA. That's because of the fact that guys like LeBron James bring in bad hate, where they hate the guy so much that they don't even want to watch him play. Obviously, I don't feel that way, but that's because I'm a diehard basketball fan. A lot of people, on the other hand, are not that. A lot of people are casual basketball fans, and obviously a casual basketball fan doesn't want to watch LeBron James lecture people about mythical racism and how black people have been oppressed for over 400 years. Obviously, they're not here to listen to that, and they're not here to listen to how Donald Trump is a racist man. They're here to watch LeBron James play basketball. Obviously, the NBA, they didn't understand that concept pretty well, and that's also another reason why the WNBA sucks in terms of TV ratings. It's because of the fact that they promote the wrong things all the time. But so far, women's college basketball has gotten it right. They've actually decided to focus on the game, focus on the actual stars of the game, and being able to showcase those stars in prime time where they can actually draw in pretty good ratings. I was actually really impressed that they drew 12.3 million viewers. I don't think they're going to get past that number because of the fact that LSU is now out of the college basketball playoffs. We'll see what happens with Iowa moving forward. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is still a media draw. She is the biggest star in all of women's college basketball. Heck, she might be the biggest star in all of college basketball, including the men's as well, just because of the fact that she is female Steph Curry. She is an absolute baller. She can shoot the three ball like no other. She can pass the ball like no other in women's college basketball. She is phenomenal as a player. Obviously, she is an all-time great already. She's going to do great things at the WNBA level. I'm amazed watching Caitlin Clark play. I want to read you guys this other quote from ESPN where it says, quote, "And make no mistake, people were watching. Last year's LSU-Iowa national championship game on ABC drew 9.9 million viewers. Monday's LSU-Iowa rematch on cable crushed that number. And honestly, I'm surprised that ratings are rising up the way that they are in women's college basketball to an extent, because you look at how almost every sport has been experiencing a major decline in ratings, whether it's the NBA, whether it's March Madness, whether it's MLB, whether it's NHL. It just seems like a lot of sports and TV shows in general have declined in ratings, but women's college basketball has actually defied that trend. Not only are they not decreasing, they're actually increasing their audience. Now, as for the NFL being able to increase their audience, well, they can increase their audience every year no matter what. It seems like no matter what the NFL does or promotes, they're going to increase ratings every single year, because the NFL right now is a money-making machine. They're ultimately a monopoly business, and at this point, it's just going to keep growing in my lifetime. So obviously, good job to the NFL in that regard. But as far as women's college basketball, again, like I say, good job to those people for being able to promote Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark for their greatness and actually turning that into positive TV viewers. Obviously, advertisers are going to be pretty happy with that as well. I'm also pretty happy that women's college basketball has actually done a pretty good job in terms of marketing themselves. Good job to them for getting the most out of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So that is why I was actually pretty impressed with the LSU-Iowa game having record high ratings, even though that number will not be sustainable for women's college basketball moving forward. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the at Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and that Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.